Hello, my little pickles. My name is Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food with Keto, under 20. How are you doing today? I hope it's a great day. You know, I am finding we're about, I don't know, a week into the poor weather here on the Cape, which means that the roads are covered with black ice, sidewalks aren't plowed. What melts during the day freezes up at night, and so I'm finding my routine is a little off. So instead of having the wonderful luxury of being able to put a podcast of some guru on my cell phone and then taking a wonderful 3-mile walk, I can't. And yes, I know I have a basement, I have a treadmill, I have gear downstairs, but I just can't get motivated to go downstairs. There's nothing so soothing in my routine as getting my 3 miles in and listening to people like Dr. Berg, Dr. Hyman, Abel James, all of the people that I love to listen to, even Anne Louise Gittleman, and other people. And I especially like the Dave Asprey interviews. He's the bulletproof man. And so I'm so happy to be on the under 20. I lost 2 pounds last week, and it's remained the same for almost a week. And so I have not completed 2 full weeks of under 20 yet. I'm not expecting a big loss or a whoosh or any of that sort of stuff. I'm kind of at a place that would be maintenance for a lot of us. And so I think the benefit for me is the boundless energy and the non-bloating feeling and the non-bloating literally, because I would look at my tum-tum after a meal of lots of veggies, and it would be like out there again, and I don't like that out there. And so to do the under 20, for example, last night I had 3 ounces of celery sticks and 3 cups of sauteed in Kerrygold butter spinach, along with my Florentine steak. Have you ever seen that? A company, it's around here, outside of Boston, I guess makes these like pinwheels with mozzarella and spinach and prime rib. And 5 ounces is 240 calories. Sign me up. So I had that with the spinach and the celery, and the spinach and celery were my veggies for the day. Today I'm going to breakfast to that earthy, crunchy place, and I'll probably have some sort of veggie, most likely spinach, in my omelet. I like days where if I was home, I would not have veggie or carb with my lunch. I would have my first meal of the day. It would be strictly fat and protein. But that's how I roll. So I'm starting to get nice questions about the keto plan, and one woman asked me, she's having trouble tracking, and I'm not sure which tracking plan she uses. And so I said, well, maybe I would do a little tutorial video with my Lose It app. And I use the I use the Lose It app, and I have for more than a year. So I just re-upped for another $39.99. And to me, that's 75 cents a week, and it's well worth it. And because I've been doing it for over a year on the Lose It app, I have quite a resource of my favorite things, my recipes, my favorite concoctions, as it were, and then all the different foods that I put in. And there sometimes is a discrepancy between one brand of something and another. Other times I just go ahead and use it. And she was kind of she had 21.9 carbs for the day, and I said, be careful of some of these tracking devices, because when they're put in by people like you and me, sometimes they can make a mistake. And she found that what she was using, she had 3 cups of coffee in for the day, and each cup of coffee was 1 carb. Well, that's 3 carbs, but they don't have carbs in them. But I will caution you that gum has carbs. So if you're a big gum chewer, I now allow myself 1 stick of gum a day. And if you knew me then, that's like going from a pack and a half of cigarettes to one cigarette. And so this was big for me. And now I just do it. And I'm very happy for that, because I'm sure that added to the bloat at the end of the day, because talk and swallow air and talk and swallow air and chew and snap and, all that kind of stuff. And there was this kind of classy broad that I worked with when I was a realtor. And she said, you know what my mother said to me? And I said, what? And she said, how does a lady chew gum? And so I just looked at her. I said, I don't know. How does a lady chew gum? And she goes, she doesn't. So anyway, so I have my one piece a day. And actually, I sit at my meeting with it kind of in my mouth, not chewing on it. So it's kind of like a breath sort of mint. But as we know, those would be loaded with the sugar. So just be careful if you're a gum chewer and you're doing 20 or fewer carbs, that that little stick of gum could have 1 or 2 carbs in it. And, that's a lot. When you got 20 to spend, So, today I saw, I've been watching Katie and the Bo Peeps, and she is quite a fun daily podcaster of what she ate. And she's just got an energy that I just catch, and it's good for me for the day. So it's Katie with a C, and she has just renewed her keto food plan. She'd been off it for a while and reached a high weight. And so this past weekend, she and her fam went to IHOP, and she was all set. She was kind of showing the menu while she was there, and she settled on this, I guess, Denver omelet, which wouldn't be what I would have thought that was. When I used to do restaurants, that would be ham, peppers, and onions. But this was like all kinds of meats and cheese and even some brisket on the top. It looked divine. And so she ate about 2/3 of it, and she said the gift was that she doesn't have to finish her plate. And then she got barraged with all kinds of people telling her that the omelet mix at IHOP is filled with wheat and who knows what else, chemicals and flavorings that don't come from the pasture. And so she was shocked, and all day Monday, I guess she was puffy, and she went to change laundry from the washer to the dryer, and she bent over, and it was creaky, and her eyelids were all puffy, her hands couldn't grip, and she's like, and that was like, she's been back on keto, very strict, for about 10 days or so. And so beware if you're going to IHOP. And sometimes the comments are just so educational. They all know the verbiage to say, ask for the cracked, meaning, real eggs, and you have to make sure that you do it and everything else. The only restaurant that I go to now, and I'm going today, is one of those all-natural, earthy, crunchy type places where everything is either grown in their backyard, which is not today, being 12 degrees, but from vendors. And they have a great big board with all the different organic, local places that they obtain their produce, and their meats and their eggs from. And it's really lovely done, and it's a place where you feel like safe from things like what IHOP does. And so just like in the stores, I told you where I picked up that piece of meat one time before I was as strictly organic, grass-fed as I am now, and it said beef and other flavors. And it's like, it's not enough that it comes from a feedlot filled with, what is it? It's not Miracle-Gro, but it's the Monsanto, Roundup in their feed, and then they eat that, and then we eat that. So go organic and pasture-fed pasture-raised if you can. It does make a difference to your insides. We have no idea what they're doing to us. And so when it said beef and other flavorings, I'm going, like for a steak, right? And it's like, that's sacrilege, in the United States. So I'm very glad that the places that I frequent, and I do frequent a lot of them, are really getting on board with organic and pasture-raised fed items. My Pete and Jerry eggs, I have bought local ones, but, it's winter and stuff, those sort of things are at a premium. So I do aim for them and trust that their standards are of excellence. And I like that Purdue never used antibiotics anyway, although I don't buy Purdue, but I do look for Nature's Promise at Stop and Shop, which is also known as Giant. And so these things do make a difference. So there's always upgrading to do. And when you buy, it's funny because if you are doing this high fat, high healthy fat sort of food plan, and you go to buy your coconut oil, you have to be careful. You don't want refined. And it's funny because you would think, well, yeah, of course I want refined. Well, I don't want anything down and dirty. Well, you want unrefined, organic, first cold pressed coconut oil. You don't want it highly processed to get to that refined. You want unrefined coconut oil. So be sure to read the labels for that, because the refined, some people will tell you the refined means a lot of the coconut flavor has been taken out, and probably a lot of other stuff too. So you want unrefined coconut oil. And I'm still trying to figure out which kind of magnesium I'm supposed to have. Some people say this kind, some people say that kind, some people say steer clear of the stearate, Steerate or EATE, I'm not sure. So there's always upgrades and tweaking that one can do no matter what food plan you are on. I did see another Oprah commercial, and she says she's lost 40 pounds, and she's been on the food plan for like 14, 15 months, hasn't she? So she must have had a hiatus for a while. And it showed her eating pasta, which is the message that's sent out that you can still have your standard American diet, just in moderation. And then Bob's, who has the Red Mill, he's got ads going now. I see it at a lot of the beginning of the podcasts on YouTube, where he has a whole line of the gluten-free products. But be careful of the gluten-free, because sometimes those gluten-free products will spike your insulin and blood sugar more than the wheat did before. And then there's, when you talk about fine-tuning, there's a group of people that don't go near oats because sometimes they're cross-contaminated with wheat, even in the delivery trucks. And so, I don't know. It's just easier for me to do no grains and no sugar. So my routine is challenged a little bit because I can't get out there and walk. And I'm a stubborn old crow that doesn't want to go downstairs and do the equipment that I have for inclement days. So I guess I'm on a little vacation from that. But with food being 80 or 90% of my plan and exercise being 10 or 20%, I guess I'm okay with that. So yes, I track. Yes, I use the Lose It Premium because that will show me my macros. Macros are proteins, carbs, and fats. So it's a little bit past the calorie intake for the day. It'll break it down and show you what you're having. Be careful when you go on and you add a new food that it was put in by somebody that was paying attention to the label they were reading it off of, because you don't want to be thinking you're eating more carbs than you are, because the person just like you and me put in 17 carbs instead of 7 carbs for a serving of something, and you're like, what? And like this woman with her coffee, 3 carbs. But do be very careful if you're a gum chewer, because gum has 1 to 2 carbs per stick for the most part. And also all the artificial junky stuff in it, which I kind of overlooked. It was kind of like me eating all natural and organic, but don't touch my Coffee Mate and don't touch my gum. Well, now I don't have Coffee Mate. I have heavy whipping cream or heavy cream without the carrageenan. And ironically, the Whole Foods 365 heavy cream never had the carrageenan in it, and yet all the others, the Organic Valley, the Stonyfield, the Hoods, yeah, they all have the carrageenan. Hoods still does. I hope they're being pressured to remove it, but and it shows in their sales, so they do something about it. because it's a local dairy company and I like it. But be very careful. There's so much more to eating organic and grass-fed items than meets the label. You need to look further than that and see what they ate, because then you're going to eat them. And you want to stay away from the farm lot meats, because it's not good. It's not healthy. And the grains that they're having for their meals have been treated with Monsanto's Roundup, which is, it's as bad as those little packets you put in your coffee with the chemicals and the no-nos. So you want to upgrade and take care of your health, and pay attention. Yeah, it's full-time at first. It does take a lot of devotion, but what else are you going to do? You want to lose the weight, you want to get healthy, you want to go the distance, you want a way of eating and a lifestyle. You don't want to lose that quick 20 for the class reunion. Have a wonderful day. This has been Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom with Food, with Keto. Here we go. Pearls of Wisdom and Food with Keto, under 20 carbs per day. And it's fun doing it. And come along with me, ask any questions you might have. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye for now.